Alright, welcome back to Metal Heroes Review, episode number 114. Yep, I'm actually doing, actual episodes from Mobile Cop Jiban. Episodes 33 to 35. Oh, and did you know these three episodes were just supposed to be the last episode I was supposed to watch before my break? But I figured though, it'd be kind of weird to end these three episodes, at 35, so yeah. So in 33, this is what happens. Matt Garbo gets this mysterious flower growing on her called the Millennial Flower, and she's out of control. She supposedly turns on Byron and gets a human form, make its first appearance in the episode. And then she's chased by her former soldiers and sent by a monster. And a lot of these episodes seem like that, how should I put this? The fact that she was constantly chased the whole episode and supposed to have a new leaf. And, we have this Millennial Pond where supposedly the power is weak. Friday Gord's Snake Monster, and eventually she destroys Snake Lloyd, and then it turns out that the whole thing was a trick on Jiban. Yep, a whole trick. You can think of this episode 33 as the last episode before we have a big change in the series. And she is defeated but not destroyed per se, but she gets away. And then the very next episode is where we have a big change in the series. So, this scientist brings an extraterrestrial life form from the moon, and apparently it's going to revolutionize. By the way, also 33, it's the last time we'll see Naito in his white suit that he's pretty much had on him for a long time. He's worn this suit since I think episode 14, I think it was. This episode, he doesn't wear the suit. He wears a complete different outfit. So, because of the fact that it's so obvious, the fact that the extraterrestrial basically, by some shady organization, a whole bunch of cops basically got in place. So, then we have the woman who basically, we're going to identify who she is in this episode. And she starts trying to kill the scientist, and then he proceeds to go downstairs of his house that he's in. So him and his daughter proceed to try to escape, but they're captured by Byron. Actually, no, they're captured by Byron gets the actual thing, and then we actually identify who this woman is. This woman right here. She identified herself as Cosmo Queen. Her goal is to terrorize the Earth, and Ryan Earth belongs to Bioloid! And they start fighting each other, and then of course she takes the scientist and his daughter. They extraterrestrial. By the way, Kyoko, he gets knocked unconscious this episode. Supposedly his life force is drained. Despite the fact that later on he's perfectly fine. No explanation for it all. So, what does Dr. Jiban do with the extraterrestrial life form? Why, he used it to power up Matt Garbo and Ryan Lloyd. And Queen Cosmo basically is impressed by this, so Dr. Jiban proceeds to form an alliance with her, which she accepts no problem. First order of business, kill Jiban! So let's draw him out with the captured scientist. And of course he has to go because he has to protect the planet, which of course, this is where we're bringing about the return of the police commissioner. First time he's been seen at this point since episode 29. Yes, been a little bit of time, not very long. It's only been 5 episodes since his last appearance, so it's nice to have a return here. So he goes out, and he tries his best, and of course you have Yoko fight to come up here too. Excuse me. He fights Matt Garbo and Ryan Lloyd, and during the course of the fight, Jiban gets his arm chopped off. Yeah, he gets his arm chopped off. and gets his heart pierced by Jiban, and he dies. Yes, Jiban dies. So then his car shows up, just takes him back to the base. Bio and his scientists and other, they're completely dropped from the story after this. They're just basically, oh, we rescued him, so they're done. And no mention of the extraterrestrial life form at this point, so Bioline's like, yeah, we're basically going to take over Japan now. So basically they cause mass hysteria, and of course the police, they had to go find Miami. Her and Rio basically show up in the 35, which first time they've been seen since episode 25. Yeah, they've been absent for 10 straight episodes. Hopefully let's take another 10 episodes before they make a return here. And Miami basically has this device around her neck that supposedly it's something that it's going to lead to Jiban's resurrection. Of course, basically, well, Harry Boy tries to set out basically Jiban's equals, but they're not moving because apparently they're connected to Jiban. So then Miami, after getting out of Ryu's car, walks to a cemetery and goes to the grave. Now she doesn't know this, but that's her grandfather's grave. And then the device opens a hole in the cross of the tombstone. She puts the thing in, a light is set at the Jiban base, and then this door pops up out of nowhere, and then Jiban is picked up and taken to the damn thing. Of course, Harry Boy's only going to be spared by a computer. And then he proceeds to fix Jiban. And then Jiban goes on and think, of course, Yoko and Kyo basically, who's alive and well somehow. It's not really explained of how the heck the man is alive. Despite the fact Quinn Cosmos said in the previous episode, oh, they drain his life force. Despite the fact he's actually alive. What happened there? I don't know, maybe a plot hole there. So, they're captured, and then Jiban shows up, and then, of course, basically frees them, and then he unveils his new weapons. First, it is this arm thing, which has Jiban on it, and then this drill, and eventually this frickin' cannon. Yeah, this is basically Jiban in his perfect form. So basically we have the power breaker, that's the thing here, the knee driller, and the arcade, basically this big huge cannon under the perfect thing. And Rhyoloid is destroyed in this episode. By the way, here's a little fun fact for you about Rhyoloid. He is actually, we used to return a few other monsters here in this episode. Yes. Though I should point out though, he is the first Bioloid to appear more than one episode since Agehoid, who appeared back in episode 17-18, which also, fun fact, was also the debut of Matt Garbo. Yep. Also, at this point in time, with Rhyoloid destroyed, we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are currently about 13 more monsters left to go for the whole series. And none of them appear in more than one episode, but with the course basically monster destroyed, and everything is proceedingly back normal, Ryu and Miami go on to someplace else. And of course, Miami still has the ringer finger from way back in episode 18. This one on her finger. And it was nice the fact we had a chance to see her once again. But when she returns, don't know. I do know that she's not going to have the ring much longer, per se. That ring is going to be removed before the actual finale of the show. Don't worry about that. It's a plot that they're definitely going to have before then. But yeah, that's pretty much it particular video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. Those of you curious, how many more episodes left to go for Jiban? At this point, 17 left. I would probably say I could probably get to a little more of it tomorrow. Yep. But do so tomorrow, along with the review of One Piece. Bye.